Verstappen has just won 19 out of 22 races in my dream. I'm just glad to be awake. Which I off goal tonight.
No, unfortunately, that was reality. Max Verstappen has won 19 out of 22 races. Fair play to him, but then at the same time, we are happy it's done. That's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
And that is the 2023 season in review.
Is that the intro?
Yeah, it might as well be.
Oh, come on.
The season finished on a disastrous note, as any non-Red Bull fan would agree. As I had to stop the car and get the footage up on my phone so that I could get the race start.
Yeah.
Great first sector.
Brilliant. Yep.
Decent second
Lovely.
sector.
Clean.
Then my internet went off.
Ah.
And I missed the next 4 laps. As it happened, Verstappen wasn't overtaken, so I didn't miss much. And then, it just stayed in front, didn't it?
Just an ordinary race in
Yes.
the 2023 season.
Another race.
Very
Another
unfortunate.
day at the office.
I do think Leclerc could have put up a bit more of a challenge there against Verstappen.
Yeah, I mean, at least, clattering one.
Yeah.
Come on.
At least classing one.
I mean, he's had 21 races, or 20 out of 21 of, dominance.
Yeah.
Anti, or Red Bull have at least.
Give it
I mean,
Charles.
Exactly. At least let someone else win last race, you know.
You know why Charles let him go? He
Why?
didn't want an incident at the chicane.
No, he didn't want an incident.
He was just like, "No, mate, you carry on. I've got a tight corner. I'll just let you go. I'll catch you
Had
up."
Ferrari have not been within reach of Mercedes, I'd have fully backed him to clatter Verstappen in that corner there.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And I would have fully supported him. I would have been a Ferrari fan.
Would have been cheering
Oh, God, yeah.
and all sorts. Now, that would have been a problem if my phone went off during that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really, really would. It really would.
So, talking to Charles Leclerc's caution, obviously he was cautious because they were locked in a fierce battle with Mercedes for that second in the Constructors. Now, I got to be honest, Carlos Sainz got that penalty.
Yeah.
He started from way, way back. But I was a little bit worried for a while for Mercedes.
I was still worried. A bit of a blessing for Mercedes, I'll admit, having that penalty. So it
definitely.
didn't really matter where another Mercedes finished, whether it's George or Lewis. It didn't really matter as long as one Mercedes was still somewhere nearly front by Charles, which George did. That was a lot closer to Charles than Lewis, let's put it that way. But it was a little bit scary if you were a Mercedes fan during that race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned about the fact that Charles Leclerc didn't put up much of a challenge to Verstappen.
No.
But nobody could catch him. so he might not challenge Verstappen, but no one could challenge him. No. I mean, obviously Russell spent quite a bit of time fighting through the McLarens.
Yeah.
Obviously beat Norris out the pits with a slow pit stop. But seriously, it was looking like a real problem at one point, and it was looking like Mercedes were desperate for Hamilton to get some points to really sort of weigh in on that.
I was a little bit worried about George, if I'm honest. You think back to races like Singapore on the last lap, and you think you've just got to bring this home for the team now. You know your job. He knows what he's got to do. He knows what he wants to do. Yeah. But it's just George just couldn't get into any trouble, could he?
No.
He couldn't.
But at the same note, it was as much of a risk for Leclerc as it was for Russell.
Yeah, of course.
As it was for Sainz, as it was for Hamilton.
Yeah.
So, what does Hamilton do? He knocks his end plate off, doesn't he?
Yeah, I did think that might be over. But thank God it
didn't seem to affect him, to be honest. He was setting fastest laps after that, and you had Toto on the mic going, "Lewis, you are the fastest man on the track." Fantastic Toto impression.
It's like a mixture between Toto and Carlos.
Yeah. Carlos Sainz.
Carlos Sainz.
So, and Carlos Sainz.
Yeah. Speaking of devil.
Finished 19th, so nothing to worry about there. They honestly hung him out to dry.
Yeah. The only thing that was giving me a bit of hope during that was knowing, obviously, the last 10 laps, knowing that Carlos has got a pit.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, if he didn't, then it would have been a completely different story.
Imagine if there was a safety car.
Oh,
I mean, imagine with a few laps to go at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, a safety car comes out because someone crashes or something, and just completely changes the result of the championship.
That's happened before, hasn't it?
I think so. No, it must have been another bad dream.
Yeah, it must have been a bad dream.
But yeah, obviously the safety car never come out.
Thank God.
this time, I mean, not that it's much real sort of consolation to us.
No.
This time it did save Mercedes, and Mercedes were able to really sort of profit off that.
Yeah,
I suppose.
And that, to be fair, it's
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know. It's a good job for Mercedes, to be fair, to get P2 in a championship.
Yeah, you know what?
No race wins. It's just consistency, wasn't it? You know.
To be fair, though, I don't think you can be too harsh on Mercedes for not getting race wins.
Yeah.
You know, Ferrari only got one. No one else got anything. Exactly. It was that dominant that, you know, if anyone got a race win, then, you know, fair play to them.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, if you think about it, if Red Bull didn't exist, Lewis would have won the championship.
Absolutely.
Fernando would have been second.
Yeah, exactly.
Would Lando have been fifth, sixth?
Lando ended up finishing sixth, so he'd have finished like fourth, I think. Yeah. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Other than Red Bull, I think obviously, if you take Red Bull out of the equation this season, I think, you know, the constructors anyway, you know, from second to fifth, you know, well, sixth if you think about it, you got Aston Martin, Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari. It's actually been quite a good scrap this season.
It's exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do think Ferrari was sort of like nowhere to be seen during the season, but
yeah, they sort of probably around Singapore, maybe just before that, it started to pick up some form, and they've had a good second half of the season.
Yeah, definitely. That's where they've picked up some valuable points.
Yeah, definitely. Start of the season, they were nowhere really.
Yeah.
You know, it was Aston Martin who were a clear second.
Yeah.
And then maybe Mercedes. Well, yeah, it was. McLaren were like 9th best team.
Yeah.
Almost 10th best team at some point.
Yeah.
And then it come to Silverstone, didn't it? And all of a sudden they've got like I won't say a race-winning car, but a podium-deserving car.
I just love it how from like the start of the season to the end of the season, how everything's just been like turned on its head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constructors, it's just
absolutely.
I mean, Red Bull, no change there.
Well, yeah,
it's crazy how everything has just been turned on its head, hasn't it?
Literally, yeah. You've seen a real resurgence from AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri looked dead and buried.
Yeah,
you know, a certain Nick De Vries was the only driver out of 22 not to get any points this season.
Yeah,
even what's his name?
Liam Lawson,
Sargent,
Logan.
I was gonna call him Nicholas then.
Oh,
go Tiffy sneaking in. Even Sargent managed to get a point, which is something to be said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unfortunate from De Vries. He just.
I don't even think it was unfortunate. He never got near anything, did he? Really.
It was just unfortunate that his driving abilities and capabilities were not up to standard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe in the second half of the season he might have got a point.
To be fair, saying that, he might have done. And I would have had full confidence in him to at least get 1 point in the second half of the season.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, their points at that point in the season really propelled them through. And we've got to talk about Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
What a weekend he had.
He's had a strong weekend, hasn't he?
You know what? We've mentioned him a couple of times in the last few weeks, haven't we? You know, he's really showing his worth. He's really proving that, despite the fact he's driving an AlphaTauri Racing Bull, whatever you would like to call it.
Rosso Toro.
Yeah, Rosso Toro, Toro Rosso, whichever you'd like to call it.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
Yeah,
he's outperforming the car, isn't he?
I mean, he's had a couple of shaky moments this season, but, I can definitely say, I don't know on terms of points whether this is his best season, but from driving ability, results, how clean he's been, I can honestly say this is his best season so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, he finished the season on 17 points, so I doubt it was his best scoring season.
No, I don't think it was.
But really and truly, in the car that essentially was 0 points for the first half of the season, it's 17 points for the second half of the season, really. Yeah.
And he's had, he's had a challenge against like 3 other teammates as well.
Yeah.
2 if you only count Liam and Daniel.
Well, yeah.
Don't count Nick in it.
He had another Dutchman in the car.
He had another Dutchman in the car.
But that Dutchman didn't work out.
No. We don't need more dominant Dutchmen.
No. We've already got one. There's no room for 2 of them.
Yeah. He does enough for the whole country. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But he's driven the absolute socks off that car, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Ricardo picked up a couple of points as well. Yeah. Great to see.
I could honestly see Yuki being in the sport for at least another couple of years. If he keeps going the way he's going.
Yeah, he's on a upwards trend.
Yeah, he's definitely earned his place now, I think.
Absolutely.
For a top drive, he still needs to have a bit more behind him. Probably a couple of more years in a lower team like AlphaTauri, Racing Bulls, Toro Toro, Ballhead, all that, whatever. Adidas. But yeah, a couple of more years. I'd say AlphaTauri. I mean, if he does really, really well, I mean, can't see why Red Bull won't give him a shot. Or at least in a higher team, release him to go to a higher team, like probably like Alpine or something like that, So Aston Martin.
I mean, to be honest, is it even a higher team?
That's a good point, yeah. You stay where you are, you might win in a couple of years.
You might do a little bit better.
Yeah, you might stay.
So,
you might stay and win.
Talking about Alpine, they got into a little bit of a scuffle partway through the race.
The French Civil War.
All over again. Yeah. As we know, Gasly and Ocon aren't exactly best of friends, no. We expected something to boil over this season. They've kept it under wraps at least, somewhat.
Oh, I'm a bit disappointed.
But what threatened to boil over is that there was 4 points between them, and Ocon is behind Gasly in the race, and is allowed to undercut Gasly to come out in front of him.
Yeah.
And the team turn around and go, "You've just got to overtake him, mate." And he's like, "Hang on a second. It was a good job that both of them got no points because they're doing a little bit of a discussion in the Alpine garage, I think."
Definitely. I know I said it at the start of this season. I said it before the start of the season, probably off camera. I always said that them two are going to boil over this season. They haven't. But I'm going to put some money on it. There's still time. I'm going to put money on it for next year. Let they will.
And when it happens, we'll be filming a video about it. So keep your eyes peeled.
Don't you worry about that. We definitely will be. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a bit of a quiet race, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a fiercely contested season. Really jam-packed midfield in both constructors and drivers.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
There were 6 points that separated Alonso in fourth.
Yeah.
On 206 and Sainz on 200, with Norris and Leclerc in the middle.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was close.
Yeah.
It was really close.
That's been the most exciting part of this championship all year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, Lewis Hamilton dropped back from Perez towards the last few races of the season, but ultimately, he was well clear of that battle at least, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you can say from Lewis. For Mercedes to finish second in the championship, for Lewis to finish third in the championship, I'd say that's a championship win all round for both driver and constructor, really.
Yeah.
I'd say that as a win.
I mean, if you're not going to count the Red Bulls.
Yeah, if you don't count the Red Bulls, I'll take that as a win. Thank you
very
much.
Dominant season from Mercedes. You heard it here first. But I mean, it capped off what was a brilliant season, really.
Yeah.
And
apart from the dominance, it's been quite good.
I think it was Matt Gallagher that I was watching yesterday, and he was talking. No, it was Tommy, and he was talking about this F1 season and talking about how actually, you know what? If you're a non-Red Bull fan, you're not going to enjoy it. It's not going to be the best of seasons, but in 20, 30 years' time, you can only look back and go, "Wow, that is." A season and a half. That is absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, I'll do it to Vettel now, from 2013 when he won like 9-10 races in a row. I hated it at the time.
Oh, yeah,
with
absolutely.
Passion. Not as much as this, but I hated it. But you look back now and you think, that was brilliant, that was.
Yeah. And you never know. We might all grow to like Verstappen in the future if he starts, looking after the planet and keeping bees and stuff like that. Going after his Sebastian Vettel's path that he's blazed through.
He won't.
Be like driving through bees in a DTM car or something.
He's still another driver's girlfriend, probably.
Yeah, he's gonna find someone to disrupt.
Stud. Absolute stud.
But I forgot what I was on about now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're just going off from Verstappen. Nice to see him do some burnouts at the end of the race.
I mean, man,
one thing I look
everything that he does, even his donuts. Set him up perfect into his parking space for in front of the number one board.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you just make a mistake at something? Really?
It's just honestly, just seeing him just do those donuts was just perfect. And I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to someone now.
Go on then.
I saw it on Instagram today. I think you know what I'm going to say. Our friends over at 107 Podcast.
Okay.
When they released their picture on Instagram with their logo above Max's car spinning.
No, that looked really cool. That did.
Why did you have to do that? That was such a good idea.
Yeah, it was, to be fair.
That's a good picture.
It did look really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I mean, that is one of the things that we look forward to
Yeah.
at the end of the season.
Yeah.
we look forward to seeing all the videos of like the team principals getting absolutely smashed afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, in a Muslim country. I mean, you know, it's a little bit against the grain. You know.
One picture you didn't expect to see was Christian and Toto having arms around each other. It was a bit like, oh my god.
No, I mean, if Christian and Toto can be like arms around each other, looking like best of friends, then they must have had a few to drink. So,
I mean, we don't even get like that. We've had a few to drink, do we?
I mean,
we just hate
it was David Coulthard that said it, I think, and he said it's one thing to be able to hug Toto as Christian Horner when you've absolutely smashed him.
Yeah.
But to be on the receiving end of a thrashing and to be also like, go on, I'll give you an hug.
Toto's been smug, that's why he knows.
Yeah, maybe he's got something in the bag for next year. You know?
We're coming back.
You never know. You never know.
Him smiling in that picture, you can just read his mind going, I'm going to get you.
Everybody has targets on their back.
Everybody has targets on their back. you know he's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, Paul Leclerc finishes second, gets on the radio, tries to cheat George Russell into fourth place. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. You cannot let a driver past of an opposite team to be able to knock somebody down on points.
Manipulating the race.
Absolutely. We've had that one before, haven't we?
We've had that one before as well, yeah.
I just think it's just anti-competitive. Like,
Yeah,
I know obviously it's for the purpose of competition with
Yeah.
Mercedes, but you can't let a driver pass.
Nah, you can't.
You've got to honour the road position.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little bit... I mean, don't get me wrong, if I was in Leclerc's place, I would have done exactly the same.
A little bit naughty from him, but you can't blame him for doing that.
But yeah, it's not against the rules. I'd argue maybe against sportsmanship, maybe. But other than that...
It was unfortunate for him that he couldn't do any burnouts at the end as well. Now, I'm not being funny. If
I mean, that compounded what was a rubbish season for Leclerc.
If I was Scholes, I would have said, F yeah, and I would have done it. You know,
he said, pull up on the grid. I was like, yeah, I'll pull up on the grid. I'm just going to do burnout first on the last corner.
Don't do any donuts. It's like Ricardo said in London a few years ago. He went, oh no, I wasn't doing donuts, I was doing some controlled sliding.
Absolutely.
Didn't say anything about controlled sliding.
So, I mean, yeah. That was a very disappointing end to the season. I bet that's what they look forward to at the end of the Grand Prix. You know.
Can I do about donuts? No. I've been looking forward to this since Bahrain.
Yeah, I mean, this season's been a write-off. I've been looking forward to it all year long.
Yeah, I would have done it anyway. Sodom.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we finish on a final farewell to France Tost. I mean, a team boss for AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso, whatever names it has. Adidas. Since 2006, I mean, absolute hero of Formula One. You know,
he will be missed.
Especially all the drivers that he's sent through the Red Bull system. He's got Helmut Marko to. I was going to say he's got him to thank. You know, Helmut Marko's got France to thank.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely for all his hard work. So that'll be a big loss to F1.
Yeah, it will be.
So. Farewell, lad. Farewell.
Farewell, mate.
You know, well played.
Good luck in your next adventures.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of the last race of the season.
I can't believe it's him.
I know. It's actually flew by. So yeah, that was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching. Keep your eyes peeled. Just because the season's finished, it doesn't mean we're going anywhere.
Oh, does that mean I'm going to do more stuff with you?
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this break.
He's not getting a break from me.
But yeah, let me talk.
Let me talk.
I did found this podcast, you know, over a year ago.
He's getting particular.
Yeah, I am getting particular now.
Come on then.
You always take lead. I want to say something. Thank you.
On that note.
Thank you for watching us, whoever...
Yeah, whoever was mad enough, you, thank you very much for watching.
Whoever was mad enough to watch us these last 12 months and people that have continued to watch us all throughout, we think you're mad, but we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So on that, big thank yous. We've been Yamo F1 and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra a bit.